In this video, I'm going to share with you the $20,000 a month YouTube automation system that I'd use and do use if I only had 5 hours per week. So we're going to turn those 5 hours into 20K per month. As you can see, I've been able to generate numerous 20K plus ad revenue months, even working as a busy 9-to-5er, and I've helped my students do the same, like Diego getting to 20K a month in under a year, and Yan hitting 30K a month on his channel Nick Invest, which arguably was one of the most well-known faceless YouTube channels of late 2025, early 2026. So these are just some of the results, but these are the systems that I'm going to be sharing with you that they use, so you can just copy them. Okay, so let's get on to the first part of the process. So I just want to go over at the very start how your upload cadence is probably going to look as you're starting a brand new channel looking to scale towards $20,000 per month. Now, a lot of people, they want to tell you about the tools, the tips, the tricks, but managing your actual channel and progressing at a regular cadence is something that not a lot of people talk about because it's not sexy, but if you don't get this right, you're 100% going to fail. So let's try and avoid that, okay? So month one, videos per week, you're very likely looking at one video per week. This is so that you get comfortable with the production process. You don't overspend on your channel more than you have to while learning the ropes of things. And then as you get more comfortable and you get some more efficiencies in how you're producing your videos, you're probably after month, let's say 2, so you have about 8 or 10 videos out so far, you're going to naturally progress towards 2 videos per week, which is still going to be allowable within that 5 hours per week at about 2.5 hours per video. So let's move on to what this is going to look like, how you're going to be dividing your time amongst those 2.5 hours. So hopefully you could see this okay. So ideation, 30 minutes, titling, 15 minutes, thumbnails, 30 minutes, script writing, voiceover editing, 15 minutes, and I'll explain why it's that short shortly, and then analysis, 60 minutes. So that's going to give us a total of 2.5 hours of video or 5 hours per week. Now, I know you're thinking, Adam, you're crazy. How am I going to do all this in such a short amount of time? Again, number one, it will take you a little bit of time to be able to progress to this point. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to take that little time your first video, but it will within your first month or two, and then you'll have a really nice system that you can use going forward. So let's get into what this is going to look like. So first, let's talk about ideation. So what is the purpose of ideation? It's finding topics for your videos. So you're going to want to find topics based on what's working on your role model channels in your niche and identify the high demand topics that are going to work for your channel. So the first thing you're going to want to do is identify 3 to 5 role model channels in your niche. So let's say you're in the aviation niche and this is one of your role model channels right here, Beyond Sky. And I'm actually going to open this up. A tool I use personally is TubeLab. So again, I'm not gatekeeping anything. I show you exactly what I use so that you can just copy me and actually get results with your channel. So I like to use similar channels function. We're just going to use this channel as an example in this video, but what you can do is you can actually see a whole bunch of similar channels that then you can gain some inspiration from, okay? And if you want to filter for the ones making more or less money, you can do just that, like this one right here. So let's just take this channel as an example, okay? So how are we going to find topics in this particular niche? So you're probably using some sort of LLM at this point. Many of you guys are using Claude, you're using ChatGPT. And so I want to give you a strategy you can use to find topics with whatever LLM you're using. And I actually am a ChatGPT guy, but I wanted to show an example using Claude because many people use this, and I don't actually have a paid plan on Claude. Maybe they'll sponsor me after this video, but I want to show you that it even works on a free plan. So I'm going to say, look at this channel, find the pattern on why and what these topics are, and break it down into a clear strategy format, and then suggest 5 new topics that are adjacent to the top performing topics on this channel. So if I open up Claude, what I've effectively done is I took the screenshot of this channel And then I entered it in and I said, look at this, what I just read to you. And so what it does, if I just zoom in a bit, is it's going to break down the channel strategy. So it tells you what works, why it works, the structural pillars of the channel and the topics, why viewers keep watching, so giant falls fun, insider knowledge, high stakes, etc. And then it's going to give you some topics for your future videos. So if you're like, I don't know how to come up with topics for my videos, this is a strategy that you can use, and then I'll show you after, but you can just say, give me more topics, give me more topics, give me more topics, and it'll just keep feeding you new topics for your channel, so you don't have to worry about coming up with them, but you obviously do have to have role model channels to give it that initial reference point on your channel. So that is how you're going to come up with topics for your channel. So again, this is why it doesn't even take, let's say, 15 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever time I've allotted to this, 30 minutes, if you have this strategy in place. Now, if you do it more manually, it still should only take you about 30 minutes, but it'll probably be a little bit less time than that. Now, the titling process. So let's talk about what this is going to look like. So we want to identify high-performing titles and generate title options. Because if you're familiar, you can actually upload 3 different titles for each video using A/B testing on YouTube. So you want to not only generate numerous titles for your videos so that you can pick the ones that resonate the best, but that you can also test. So we can use Claude again. And so what we can do is we can open up this other example. Again, I preloaded everything not to waste your time in this video. But I said, give me 10 other titles for this YouTube video. Airbus A380, Europe's $25 billion bet. So if we actually go back to here, this is this first video right here. So I just took it from that initial analysis, and then I plugged it into the next chat. And I said, okay, give me other title options. So it gave me all these different options here, right, that you can see on screen. I'm not going to read them out to you. That kind of be a waste of time. But you can see you're even getting explanations of why they work. So it's kind of educating you on why your titles could work for your channel, which is kind of great, right? So that's the next step of the process. So that's titling in probably 2.5 seconds. But again, this is easy for me to say because I've done it so many times. It might take you a little bit more time. Now, the next thing is the thumbnail process. So this is going to take slightly more time, but still not a lot of time. And I'm basically walking you through what the entire production of one video would look like. So you can actually see that you can build a system that you can work with, whether you have a job, you have a family, you have a business, you're hooked on a Netflix show and you don't want to give that up, so that you could be successful. So you want to identify high performing thumbnails and create 3 iterations per video for A/B testing. Many people, they just upload one thumbnail, but from my experience working with people one-on-one to build their channels, which if you want to learn more about, you can hit the link in this description. It is very often that cultivating the skill of creating thumbnails is the hardest part for people because it's half science, half art. Now, with AI tools, the nice part is it makes this process much simpler and it's very time efficient. You don't have to hire a thumbnail designer anymore. So that should be very appealing to you. So let's walk through the process of how you would do this, okay? So again, we want role model channels so we can have some sort of frame of reference of what's working in the market. So here we have what's working in the market. We have this channel as our reference channel. We've already talked about this, right? So what do I do? So what I would want to do is I would actually want to open up this channel right here. So let's scroll up to the top with our reference channel. And so what we want to do with this is, personally, I'm just showing you the way that I make thumbnails and the way that many of my students are making thumbnails right now is by using 1 of 10, okay? So what you can do with 1 of 10 is you can just enter in the channel name of the channels that you want to produce thumbnails for. And once you enter in the handle, which you can get right here, it'll start creating thumbnails in that design style. So what we want to do is the following. What we want to do is we want to take that topic. So we go like this. We got that option right here. Okay. With 1 of 10. And we want to just enter in to 1 of 10 the title of our video. Now, I want to give you a little pro tip if you made it this far. If you're making a title that's very vague, like you could say the best plane that's ever flown the skies. That could be any plane. So you need to give the thumbnail generator a bit of context. Otherwise, it's not going to know what the hell you're talking about. So here we have the $25 billion ghost, why airlines walked away from the A380. This is actually good. I'm just going to make 2 thumbnails in this case. We'll go Gen 2. But why I'm sharing this with you is because if you just make your title for your video without the context within the thumbnail generator too vague, you're going to just burn credits. It's not actually going to align to the plane in this example that you're talking about or whatever the context is, and you're just going to lose money. So here's the process of creating thumbnails, right? So what this is doing is right now it's analyzing the thumbnails on this particular channel, and then it's contextualizing the thumbnail for your video based on what the topic is, right? Because you need something that's obviously going to match what your video is all about. So you're going to give this, it probably takes up to a minute to be able to create these thumbnails, which is much faster than you finicking around with Claude or ChatGPT or even Canva at this point, which I'm a fan of Canva, but I understand that creating proper designs can be tough. So here you see a really good initial thumbnail, the $25 billion mistake, etc., etc. So you have a couple iterations of the same plane. You can see they're the same, but you have them designed slightly differently. And so you have it in a really nice style. Now, if you wanted to edit this, you could say, make the text red instead. Maybe your branding is different. Make the text and arrow red. And you just go process thumbnail. So if you're also someone like me who doesn't have a ton of design skills, just being able to prompt in what changes that you want to take place is actually super powerful for your YouTube journey, because again, we don't want your personal skill sets to be holding you back. And so let's just let this load for a second, and basically we'll see what the output is. Again, it is in beta, this tool. It's not perfect, but did a fantastic job. So now you have the original, which you can download, and you have the iteration, which you can download. So you can actually kind of create, it does cost a credit, I think, to make some changes, but it's much cheaper than making new ones as well. So there's another pro tip. So if you want to try this, you can try this thumbnail design tool, 1 of 10, for just $1 for your first 30 days by clicking the link in this video's description. You get to my landing page. It is an affiliate link, just to be clear, full disclosure. But this is what my students are using right now. I use this for my channels. I think it's the best thumbnail generator right now, as at the time I'm recording this. Now, let's move on to the next part of the process, which is going to be the production process. Now, you're probably thinking, Adam, how is this 15 minutes only? That seems absolutely insane. Well, it is kind of insane, but for good reasons. So you're going to be able to script, voice, and edit all in 15 minutes. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually try and recover the context for the video. So this is our video topic right here, the $25 billion ghost, why airlines walked away from the A380. So it's going to give you the full story, because likely, unless you're an expert in your niche and about the particular topic, you're not going to know. So we're going to let AI do the research for us. So what I would do is I would go in and I would copy this context, and we have the title. And then what I would do is I would go into a tool like VidRush, and this tool is going to allow you to enter in the context, enter in the title, pick the length of the video, and then start the process of creating the video. So once you enter in these different items, you'll pick your voice, your background, thumbnail design, and it's going to start to do all the research, gather all the images, and then what it ends up doing after an hour of totally hands-off time, it's going to produce out your final version of your video on the timeline. You can manipulate it if you want. Personally, I do not change anything. I just simply render out the video. I get the thumbnail from it. It generates a thumbnail for you. And usually what I do is I do 2 thumbnails from 1 of 10 and then 1 thumbnail from VidRush. And that's my pairing of 3 for each video. So that's how you're going to be able to make videos in a minute amount of time. And then there's one more part of the process, remember? So analysis. So analysis is going to be from a channel, a video perspective. So we want to see both, and we want to leverage highest opportunities on your channel. So you're going to start to release videos, and you're going to have good topics, good packaging, good videos. But again, there might be some improvements that you want to make. So my recommendation for you is for every video, you look at the retention of the videos, because you might have to make some minor edits in the prompts that you're using on VidRush to say, like, we need more compelling intros, or they need to be shorter, to try and improve that first 30-second retention that you want at least 75%. You also want to be looking at the packaging results from your A/B testing, because if the packaging is not performing well, you're getting low click-through rates, it's likely either your topic or your title and thumbnail. So you can start to see maybe you need to start pulling in different references for thumbnail design that's going to work for you, for example. From a channel perspective, you want to look at when people are watching to optimize the time you're uploading your videos and releasing your videos. And then you want to look at who's actually watching. So if you have a lot of people over 35 and you're making videos that are catering to younger people, like studying videos, just like how to use your summer if you're off school kind of thing, that's not going to resonate with people that are older, right? Or if you can call out your audience, like, how to stay healthy if you're over 35, what no one talks about, and it's going to hit the majority of your viewers, that's huge, okay? Much more likely to get people to click through on your videos. And just analyze your breakout topics. Like, look at videos on your channel that are getting more views, less views, and that's going to indicate to you where you should be focusing your energy and then retracting your energy where things aren't working. And if you want to learn how I made over 600K with one faceless YouTube channel, click on this next video.